7 years ago. What the cat dragon? Rest in Virginia. It's so soft he calls me, right? Says he's walking bow-legged all weekend and can barely move. Glitter laughed, moving so animatedly that she nearly knocked over her beer. And she asks, how do I put him back together? And I'm like, what do you mean put him back together? She tells me she's been having so much sex with my brother during the last 2 days, she literally can't close her legs. At that point, the woman just died laughing, doubling over until she was gasping for breath. She later told me she was a virgin when she slept with Sky. Looks like she took care of that in spades. Velvet took a drink of her own beer, rolling her eyes. My kid's sisters, ladies. Harmonia giggled. You know, when I was dating Sky, we never really got that far. We decided we were just better off as friends. Well, I could see how he could be the kind of man that would satisfy a woman. You just broke my brain, Molly, Luna grunted. Sky's like a big brother to me, and you're talking about his... He's a man, Celeste said sardonically. Yes, we've all been part of each other's lives, but at the end of the day, Sky is a man with needs just as we are women with our own. Tia, I really did not need him as my brother, thank you very much. Velvet growled Celestial laugh. Still, she made him happy. Never thought it would work. Claire said, for all that time, she was what he needed. Damn those fucking doctors for fucking up! She angrily grabbed the beer mug and threw it across the room, where it shattered into so many pieces. Damn it! Oi, dust it off! The bartender sighed. My sister's devastated, Velvet apologized. Our sister-in-law just passed away and they were best friends. Curse the slack, okay? The bartender nodded sympathetically and moved on. Luna lifted her beer and looked at her brown bottle. To think that women still die in childbirth at this date and age. And to lose both mother and child. It's not felt wild. Amalia nodded. No, it's not. And even though she was only with him for a short time, Soft-spoken loved him for a lifetime's work. But right now, ladies, we need to be there for Sky. Just let him know he can turn to us. I'm more worried about the girls, Claire said. I just got in from Singapore 2 days ago, and haven't seen them yet. Where are they? My daughter's watching them, Amanio explained. I'm sure it'll be good for both them and Cadenza. Cadence also has Twilight with her, so it'll be good for them to socialize, Velvet added. I hope so. The triplets have a fiercely independent streak. They're a little too independent, truth be told. Claire signaled to the bartender for another drink. Probably my fault. Maybe it's Sky's. Sure as hell not Softy's. It's no one's fault, Claire, Celeste told her. Some kids are just like that. Not at that age, Tia. Not at that age. Twilight, they're your cousins. Cadence gently admonished the girl. You should get to know them. But they scare me, young Twilight admitted. At the moment, she held onto a thick book like a lifeline. Meanwhile, outside in the backyard, 3 girls did what they usually did in their house. Sanaa puzzled over what looked like a lawnmower engine she was repairing without supervision. Arya practiced with a kid's bow and arrow set, sinking shot after shot into a target a distance away. Finally, Adagio practiced martial arts class. They're just normal girls your age. Cadence watched the 3 and had to admit that was a falsehood. There's nothing normal about these 3. Even that she could notice. For starters, they were acting far older than their peers, Twilight included. While the latter tried to be introverted and often only opened up to Octavia, her other cousin, and probably her only friend at that age, there was an unnatural rhythm that the triplets had settled into. One Cadence was pretty sure wasn't supposed to be on the minds of just children. She turned back to her charge. You won't know until you try, Twilight. Wish Tavi were here, the younger girl whined. I know you do. But Tavi couldn't come. And besides, these 3 need your help. Their mother just died. They probably could use a friend. Cadence kissed the young girl on the forehead. Nothing else, do it for me. Okay, Ladybug? Twilight smiled, showcasing a missing tooth whose adult equivalent had yet to grow in. Boom! Twilight looked at the 3 and decided Sonata was the most approachable. Leaving her book with Kane, she walked over to where Sonata was, greased on her hands and staring at the motors who wore a seat as she gave me puppy. What are you doing? Twilight asked. Without looking at her, Sonata reached for her wrench. Fixing Mr. Incar's lawnmower, she said matter-of-factly. It's got to away, but Sati said. She became very quiet. Are you okay? No, Sonata shouted, tears in her eyes. Can't fix this. Salty said I couldn't, I can't. I couldn't fix Salty either. Sonata started crying. Twilight had no idea what to do, looking to Keynes for help. She found in the second layer she was shoved to the ground. Looking up, tears filling her eyes from her pain, she suddenly felt as Adagio stood over her, fist cocked, ready to hit Twilight the first chance. What did you do to her? She yelled. There was a part that horrified Keynes, as everything went south practically instantly. No, it was the fact that, without even considering what was going on, Arya had trained her bow and arrow on Twilight without even thinking twice. Arya, Adagio, behave yourselves! A voice ripped through the air. Two standing triplets immediately complied to the sound of that voice. I glitter! Both of them said at the same time. From the tone, Keynes noted the words may as well have been synonymous with her. Glitter stood there with an angry look on her face. Girls, I saw what happened, she said in angry tones. Disappointing you both. But we were just trying to protect Sunny. By hitting your cousin. And Arya, what did I tell you about your bows and arrows? Never point them because they could hurt, the male triplet replied. Twilight was just trying to talk to Sunny, and she cried. That happened because she's sad what happened to Softy. Don't you feel the same way? Claire walked over onto the two. I'm not going to say violence isn't the answer, because sometimes it is. But unwarranted violence is the same thing as bullying. We taught you two better than that. Arya and Adagio immediately started crying, hugging their aunt, begging for forgiveness. In turn, Glitter cried along with them, both the loss of her best friend and sister-in-law, and the loss of the triplets' childhood. They had been forced to grow up. No, they forced themselves to grow up, far faster than any child should have. Sonata, meanwhile, went over to Twilight and did something totally wondrous. She hugged her, saying, It's okay. I'm sad right now, but I have Arya and Adagio. They make me happy. Do you have sisters? Sorta. I have Tavi and Katie. Twilight explained non-explanation. Going over the fact the first was actually the second one was her babysitter, and a friend of her older brothers was going to take too long. See, you have sisters too, Sonata chirped. Sisters never let you down. From where she sat, Kate allowed herself a sigh of relief, glad that an adult was on hand to defuse the situation, to spun out of control before she could even leave her chair. Then she realized her mother was going to hear about it. Akarius realized it's probably as good as dead when that happened. Shining felt out of place in the funeral home, given it was a pleasant place for the living. Even though he was an accomplished DM at Dungeons & Dragons, he really didn't have much experience with death. He wasn't even a fan of horror films, truth be told, and didn't want to be here. Of course, the alternative was staying with his mother and sister, and a group who was entirely female, save for his newborn brother. Shining, you okay? I asked. Yeah, Dad. He lied, tugging at his tie. He hated them and swore he wouldn't wear one when he grew up. Just thinking about the situation. No one expected it, Dad commented. Just like no one expected your uncle to fall for a girl half his age. But honestly, I think soft-spoken was good for Sky. Really? How so? He grinned sadly. Rosa's death really hurt him. They had been together forever, really loved one another, and the kind of love you don't see often. He elbowed his son sighed gently, adding, Well, depending on whether you end up with Cadence or one of her friends. Shining rolled his eyes. Dad, Katie's sweet, but I don't think that's going anywhere, not with Buck Withers being an ass about it. Besides, Hearts, Lemony, and Sandy are just friends, and I guarantee none of them are looking at me that way. Sure, son. They said it in a tone that he didn't believe it at all. But anyway, your uncle had the love of a lifetime with your Aunt Lotus. And that life was stolen and halved by Sky. You might be too young to get this, but sometimes a guy just needs a girl, or he's incomplete. Maybe, he said, his mind thinking about a beautiful young lady with three-tone hair. So when he suddenly announced he was eloping with a girl he'd known for years, but half his age, needless to say, your mother thought he lost his mind. But I knew that when I met Salty, she was perfect for him. She made him feel young and alive again, and taught him how to love again. It was enough to bring him back from the dead, living or not. He was just as dead as Lois was the day she was murdered. He shook his head, and now she's gone, I think we're all worried. About him? About him and your cousins. Velvet said that he might not be most involved in their lives. Speaking as a father who has tried to be in yours, that's true. I don't know what's that done for your cousin's psyches. Changes. 7 years ago, Broadlands, Virginia. Changes, turn and face the strains. Changes, don't want to be a richer man. Changes, turn and face the strains. Changes, just gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't change time. Normally, Ziggy Stardust music was something that Claire absolutely adored. When she was a teenager, she used to fantasize about marrying him, even with all the rumors about him being gay or something. But now she was older, she understood the lyrics a little better, especially the ones to this song. You're not going to come home, Aunt Claire? Arya asked her, and it broke the woman's heart. Ari, the work I do in Singapore is very important, Claire said, knowing that was a half-truth. The work could be done in any engineering company, anywhere in the world. It was just one of the guys who worked at the company, a fellow American, who really made it worth working there. Do I remember what I told you three about work? If it's not worth doing right, it's not worth doing at all, Dacia chimed in. But you know I miss you three every day, right? You do? Sana asked. Then can we come live with you? She shook her head. No, you can't. As much as I would love you to, my apartment's too small for all of us. Besides, you need to be here for your dad, okay? He's gonna be lonely without Salty, and you three are supposed to make him smile. Or else he's gonna run away again, Dacia said with a tone that only a child knew. That's not fair to your father, Claire reminded her. He has a very important position in the government. No, he's gonna run away again. He ran away when Mommy died. You had to take care of us. He's gonna do it again now that Salty's gone. Adagio looked at her aunt while the keys are broken. I don't want to be alone anymore. I don't. You won't. It's not gonna happen, I promise. Day is thinking about signing me to the embassy in Baghdad, Sky said softly. I had thought about not taking it before, because I was going to be a father again. But now, it might be what I need. You fucking coward! Velvet hissed. I'm with her on this. The rest of the family was there too, save for their parents, who flown back to San Diego earlier in the day. You're running out of your children again! Yeah, thanks for making me a liar out of me, big bro, Claire snarled. Velvet and I don't agree on much, but this time, I think she's spun on. You are a fucking coward. Why are you doing this to the girls? Sky looked at his sisters. Ladies, you don't understand. Then explain it to me. And she was not happy in the least. I thought you had got to fight back to Camelot with Tia and Lou, Velvet asked her. I took a later flight on purpose. Sky and I have different relationships than the rest of our family does, because we were sweethearts once, so I know him on a more intimate level than you do. The older woman told her. Then she looked at Sky. Or at least I thought I did. Moaning, he started. No, do not think you could do that to me, Sky, she said coldly. Ladies, please leave. I think your brother and I should have a private discussion. Besides, I think you need to prepare for the inevitable. Inevitable? You understand. The two sisters got to the point and departed. Velvet looked at Amari and said, Be careful. The woman smiled wolfishly. You should know that it's not I who should be careful, Velvet. The two looked at each other for a while before Amalia wandered to the house bar, where Sky had kept a well-stocked liquor cabinet. There was a time, she began, when I would have left my husband for you. I left Silvery Lake now tomorrow, and he has given me cadenza. But even still, I knew that if you had only asked, I would have left him. She poured her whiskey on the rocks for herself. When we decided we were better off being friends, I lied. I hoped that time would make you realize you cared about me as much as I did about you. That even when I met Chivalry and married him, when I had cadenza, somehow you would realize where you belonged. Moni, I'm not done yet. She growled. When you finally met Lotus and told me, your oldest friend and once loved, that you finally found someone, I was both jealous and happy for you. I am learned to put away childish things, foolish hopes like my emotions, because I had a husband I loved, and a child that was my world. But even then I still hoped. And when Lotus was murdered by those bastards, I knew you would hurt. I didn't want that. There was nothing else I could do. I never thought you would abandon the children you had with her. I think it shocked me more than I could say, because this guy I knew once told me he wanted a family, because family meant more to him than anything. And there you were, 3 children, 3 beautiful girls, and you abandoned them. She swallowed the whiskey in one draw, then poured again. Then I heard you took another bride, one only a handful of years older than the child. As odd as it may seem, I don't blame you for that. Soft-spoken, from what I know, was a beautiful young woman, and she made you feel alive. Something you clearly needed. By this point, I was long past my feelings for you. But I still valued our friendship, because you have been my oldest friend. She picked up the glass and walked over to him, a smile on her face, but clearly not a happy one. And now your child bride is dead. And you're running away from your children again, Sky. And I see a man who looks like someone I loved. I loved very deeply, as both a friend and once lover. And I don't see that man at all. Do you know what I see? I see a weak, spineless fool who let himself fall apart so badly that his baby sister had to grow up faster than necessary. That you turned into the arms of a child, foisted a child on her. Maybe that would have made you wise up. But then tragedy struck you. You know what? You're running again. With a move so fast you couldn't track it, she slapped him across the face. How long before you find some pure 15-year-old girl in Baghdad? How long before the cycle occurs again? His hand went to where she connected and he glared at her. I don't like your tone, Moni. And I don't care for what you are doing to your and Lois's children. Would you have done the same if Soft-spoken had her child and then died? Your girls are being forced to grow one step of feral Sky. Contessa told me that to protect Sanaa from a misunderstanding, I thought you hit her cousin Twilight, and I had trained a bow on her. Those are not the actions of children. Those are the actions of sociopaths who become that way because they have no parents in their lives. I'm not talking about Glitter or Soft-spoken or even Lotus. There's only one parent at fault here, because he doesn't have the courage to stay and raise his children. He glared at her. I think you should leave. Yes, I think you so too, she said, genuine sorrow in her eyes. I see the boy I loved is gone, and the man I cherished isn't here anymore. I don't know who you are. She looked away, and Sky thought he saw tears in her eye. Goodbye, Sky. We probably won't see each other again. Moni, but she was gone. Back at the hotel, Harmonia sat by the bar, with Velvet, Night, and Glitter. Normality were all returned to Canterlot, leaving Sky here with his children. Velvet, you're not to leave tomorrow, Harmonia told her in a stern voice. I know. Night and I have talked about it, so have Glitter and I. Glitter chimed in. I would do anything for those girls. I practically see them as mine, but I can't give up my life as it is right now. And they need stability right now. Stability Sky can't or won't give them. Night was quiet. We're already raising Octavia half the time because of how busy my brother and sister-in-law are. But thankfully, my last book sold enough that we're able to look into getting a newer house out of San Palermo. Really, I was not aware of that. Night laughed and nodded. When I was Shining Says, I thought I'd be a sci-fi writer. Didn't pan out, so I became a physicist. Wrote a book just to get it out of my system. And now the #1 non-fiction book out there is mine. My agent called me and actually asked if I had any fiction I dabbled in. Said I could be like a billion stars himself, both respected scientist and well-known celebrity. He sort of drinking his glass. It was enough that the university wants to offer me a raise, because they probably think that Shasta University is going to hire me anyway when my contract is up. He joked. The point is, we have a house big enough for Twilight, the baby, Tyree, and Shiny here, Philip answered. If we had to accommodate 3 more girls, well, family takes care of family. Amalia smiled. You've been a mother 3 times, Velvet, and as Knight says, you're going to raise your niece as well. Can you take 3 more girls then? She looked at Knight, and in return he took her hand. I always wanted a large family. Who knows? Maybe when the girls get settled in, we'll think about adopting someday as well. I'm going to take a few minutes to glare at Evening Sonata for a bit. It's kind of a message on this is how you do your book series right.